So you're thinking about moving to hot Atlanta, or maybe you already live here. What is the cost of living in Atlanta? I'm here to tell you. So, been doing mortgages for quite some time now, mostly in Atlanta, to be honest. It used to be so cheap to live there. You could find, I remember a house, $185,000. It was beautiful. It was 2-story. It was probably on 2 acres. I don't remember exactly where it was, but in the Atlanta area. Not downtown Atlanta, of course. Homes were expensive in the 80s, much more than that. But I'm talking about somewhere like maybe Hiram or Douglasville. Any case, $185,000 house. It was a brick house, 2-story, had the columns. It was sick, really nice. Anyway, that same house I looked recently was $600,000. But it's a killer house. Now, compared to California, New York, that type of area, or like Washington State, or even lots of places in Oregon, it's still pretty cheap. In fact, I had a house in Salt Lake City, Utah, and $600,000 won't buy you anything. Maybe something. So, in any case, it's all relative. So that gets to the point of the cost of living in Atlanta is still relatively cheap compared to your other areas. Now, compared to Alabama or Mississippi or Louisiana and some of those areas, I'm sure it's cheaper. Even in Georgia, there's cheaper areas. But Atlanta, being a big metropolitan city, one of the biggest cities in the nation, is probably the cheapest place you're going to live. Now, the nice thing about Georgia and Atlanta is the warm weather. Some winters aren't that cold. You have cold days, but I've had many Christmases at 85 degrees. Summers can be brutal, hot, but I always tell people it's in your mind. You just turn it off, turn the complaining off. It's warm, it's better than cold. If you're a guy, take the shirt off. If you're a girl, turn the air conditioning on. It's a warm environment, not too bad. But the cost of living, the main thing we want to look at is your mortgage and your rent. Rent's generally about $2,000 a month for a nice place. You might find something for $1,500. Your mortgage, if you're at $300,000, you're going to be about $2,500 a month, in that range, depending on your taxes and insurance, and it just goes up from there. So you're looking at $2,000 range. Now, food is going to be the same price pretty much as anywhere. Some things are a little cheaper. Maybe milk's cheaper in Georgia than maybe LA, or definitely cheaper than Hawaii. Vegetables, all that, it's all about the same. So your daily expenses aren't going to change much, but your rent, your mortgage will be less in Atlanta than other big cities. Yeah, that's about all I have for you. Now, I tell you that most of my clients are from New York, California, because the cost of living is cheaper in Georgia than Atlanta. Personally, if you work from home, why don't you live somewhere else in Georgia? Like you can go to Macon or Augusta or some of these other areas that are cheaper. You can get a nicer home for $300,000. You're working from your home office. So unless you really work in the city of Atlanta, there's no sense in living there, unless again you have family. Then you don't have the traffic. I'm all about getting something a bit cheaper. I could afford a much bigger, nicer house. I choose to have a cheaper, smaller house because I don't like the mortgage payment. So my cost of living is cheap no matter where I live, because I make sure my rent's lower. All right, so that's what I have for you. If you have any comments, feel free to put them in the section below. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and you can go to my website, call, text, email. See you soon.